Applying permaculture to your existing landscape can seem overwhelming. Designing a permaculture landscape starts with thoughtful observation and careful analysis of your property. It took Mother Nature billions of years to shape the patterns and biodiversity in today's ecosystems. So how can we simple humans be expected to get it right in just a few seasons? Fortunately, there are a growing number of landscape design firms that focus on ecological design approaches like permaculture. Urban Ecosystems is one such company. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Frances Fagan with Sustainable Today, and let's go explore the Green Garden Home. Come along. Today we're going on an adventure in an urban jungle. How does this happen? How can you restore the wilds to an urban setting? Well, here's just the man to let us know. Jason Raschke of Urban Ecosystems. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting us to your green space.
Welcome, Francis.
So this place is wild.
Yeah, it's quite a jungle. It wasn't always like this, though. It was about 5 years ago I bought the place, and when I moved in, it was all grass. And I began taking out all the grass and trying to convert it. I used a combination of plants. I used natives, edibles, and what I call naturescaping plants. There were some invasives, blackberry and ivy, but the biggest invasive plant that I encountered was the grass, basically. Grass is non-native to this area, and it's basically planted throughout the city.
And it takes up a lot of water, a lot of resources to maintain.
My goals for the property are, first of all, to restore some of the native habitat that was here. Has been lost through conversion into residential areas. And create some habitat for birds and bees and other animals, but also to bring some edibles into the garden and make it so that we're focusing on local production of food.
It's like a market in your backyard, kind of.
Yeah, I try to get as many plants as possible and try to select plants for as many uses as possible. So it's not just something pretty to look at. It's been called a little paradise, a little Eden. Basically, I try to share this space with as many living organisms as possible. I do have raccoons come through, I have squirrels, I have over 25 birds that come through, 25 species. I have 4 chickens. They help me with the gardening, they provide eggs, but basically I'm trying to create a urban oasis. So this is the composting area, Francis. This is where I turn all of the green material from the gardens and all the trimmings and everything from the weeding and everything, overgrowth, into this. This is our new pile of compost. This is the fresh pile that will eventually turn into some soil. Really how you do this is you just kind of pour the green material on and layer it in. And every couple months you come in and you turn it. I actually have my chickens come in here and do a lot of the work for me, but eventually that green material will turn into this deep, rich humic matter, lots of organic debris, which basically contains nitrogen and other carbon and phosphorus and other trace elements that are great for gardening with. This is the organic matter from the yard. The organic material created in the kitchen is brought to a different spot, and it's called a worm box. And the worm box is basically a house for worms. So basically we're closing the loops of the wastes that we're producing on site and reusing them in the garden. So this wildlife hedge is part of my native garden. Basically from this point down, all of the plants are native, and it's basically a demonstration of what can be done with native plants and an examples of our native plants. So for instance, this is flowering red currant here, and during the spring this plant gets just beautiful pink red fuchsia flowers that hang down as tassels, and this plant, as it comes available, is one of the main food sources for the rufous hummingbird. But these basically flank the entrance to one of my another part of my garden. It's called the technique that I've used in it is this keyhole garden. Basically the pathway leading in is in the shape of a keyhole. the central area in here is like the top of the key, but it basically opens up into a room, and it's flanked by all of these other native plants.
It's like a beautiful, like, little secret garden.
Exactly. I purposefully leave the branches covering the opening so that it seems like you're entering into another room. I like to create rooms in the garden, try to bring the outside in, the inside out, and try to make the fine line between what's going on. And this naturally lends itself to being a space. It has this beautiful Sitka spruce. The Sitka spruce is a native species. It's found on our coast. And I basically have planted it with associate plants that are found naturally with this plant. For instance, this Oregon grape. The Oregon grape is a native species that can be used for jams, but the root of this plant was used extensively by Native Americans. It has a yellow pigment in it that can be used to make dyes for basketry and other types of usable implements, I guess.
It's a multitasking plant.
Yeah, so basically that's one of my criteria for plants is it's not just about how they look. Most plants intrinsically have this value of being nice to look at. It's these other plants that have uses that are more attractive to me.
So finally, Jason, this is yet another beautiful space.
Yeah, this is where I like to spend a lot of my time. It's a garden, but it's a little bit different. It's an area where people can come together and enjoy the garden. It's a place where I like to sit and read, or sit with my boys and have a fire at night and do some stargazing or do drumming, but basically just sit around and kind of enjoy other people's company. I really enjoyed the visit and trying to get out some of the information to people and trying to help people bring some balance back into their yards and create an ecological landscape.
Well, you've definitely done it here. So this is Frances Fagan, bringing you the tools to be sustainable today.